Good afternoon, collectors, friends, and Breakomaniacs. Thanks for joining Leighton's Loft. You can find us here every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you don't catch us live, you can find us on your favorite platform where you enjoy your podcasts, like Apple, Spotify, and all that good stuff, Lou, right?
That's right. That's right. Very exciting day. Hopefully you're catching us live today.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one today. Afternoon, Josh, Ian, thanks for joining us, Chris and Mike. We do have a good show planned. And of course, even though it goes for about 30 minutes, we could probably make this 3 hours, considering the amount of content. We're going to start off with this, though. I'm glad Daniel popped on early. What's up, Steven? So, Daniel, I've been, going out and about in Hoboken and the city somewhat recently, now that I've been feeling better. And, obviously, even with my son, we go to the New York City and we'll enjoy whether it be the High Line or the parks. So I'm out the other night and I'm like, Hoboken is such a great place. And during the week, either on like a Tuesday or Thursday, even though it's starting to get busier, Lou, there's like tons of space in these restaurants.
Really?
So I talked to them the other day, and this is geared towards Daniel because I feel I can get Daniel to come. And don't get me wrong, I love my store and I love our office. But Lou, like, we're still a distance from Manhattan.
Right.
So what I want to do is I want to have a New York centric and a Hoboken centric, but we'll hold it in Hoboken. I don't necessarily if I want to call it a trade night. I really want to have it be a social gathering. And if you bring your cards, great.
Yep.
If you bring just your appetite, great. If you bring something, in between like cash and checks and wampum, that's awesome. But what I like to do, Daniel, will keep it small, like 5-10 folks. Basically, what they said is they'll give us space, but they'll treat it like we're just going to dinner.
Oh, nice.
So, as long as we go there and we buy some food, and we buy some drinks, we're going to be able to basically have free space.
That's perfect.
So on a night I don't have Kraz, because he definitely doesn't want to do this. Daniel, exactly. So what I'm thinking is I can get some folks from the city who aren't necessarily going to come out to the store here in Millburn, New Jersey.
Yep.
But would be very happy to grab a drink, a burger, and maybe some cards on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Monday night in Hoboken.
Sounds like a fun night.
Well, Nick, I'm going to work on it with Daniel Lynch. I'm nominating him right now to be co-chair of the event, seeing as how Daniel has tons of time, right, between his family, being a lawyer and hopping on VB. But the joking aside, I'm going to talk with Daniel. Of course, we're going to try to figure out of the vintage breaks community, Lou, who's close enough. Like I know Nick Canizo will come.
Yep.
Bennett would come. What's up, Nick? Welcome back. So what we're going to do is try to, do something in Hoboken on the sooner side, because I feel like once summer hits, I can speak, right? Between my son's got camp, vacation, the national. CB, I think thousands of miles away is probably not worth coming in for this. But I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. And I think it's going to be a good time. I think it's something where we could do it monthly or quarterly. And if nothing else, we only do it once and we throw back a few. And I mean, I remember back to a couple years ago, National, I had throw back a few, and I was trading with Rob Geis.
Oh, God.
And I traded him a Hank Aaronstein rookie, which I can tell you I still miss. So who knows what's going to come out of this event?
Yeah, VB community dinner. That'd be great. That'd be a great setting. Just nice, unique event. Be great.
Yeah, and I really want to expand it beyond VB. In other words, if someone like someone I'd be friending in Hoboken and they know nothing really about vintage breaks, but they're a vintage card collector, like they're going to want to come to this. The guy collects Ruth.
Yep.
In fact, he actually bought one of my consignments out of REA, and it, crushed me because I'm like, oh, I love the guys at REA, but I could save the commission, and so this guy. But that's how it goes.
Yep.
So anyway, that's not why we're here. We are here today to talk about cards, specifically a lot of them. And Lou, I know you were at least filled in a little bit about what came into the offices earlier today.
Yeah, and I just happened across the the IG post about it just before I connected with you guys. So yeah, I'm a little bit ahead of the game today.
Yeah, and for those of you who are a little bit out of touch with social media, for IG, we're referring to Instagram. And on Instagram, I got different names, aliases, but if you want to find me for baseball cards, you would simply look up Leighton, LEIGHTON _, the little underscore sign, and then my last name, Sheldon, SHELDON. I don't really sell much on there, although I have people who contact me asking about the cards I'm showing if they're for sale. I really do it for content. Crosby's been on there a little bit. I plan to start another Instagram account for more like personal stuff. But as far as cards go, you can also find us at Just Collect and Vintage.breaks. But as far as like, I guess my trials and tribulations, treasure hunting, I would follow Leighton Sheldon.
Yep.
So as Lou was alluding to, I just put up a post with Jason's help from our office here a little bit ago, and J5's at it again. He's working with someone who, believe it or not, and I wish we could cue it, Lou. If we could do it, we would do it now. I tried to do it with the IG post, but because I was talking, it didn't make any sense to play music on top.
Right.
But I'm a big GNR fan. I've never seen them live, but I plan to on this, tour. And so immediately J5 tells me that they first contacted us in 2020. And, I understand at the time they didn't necessarily, they don't have to sell, and they wanted to wait. They didn't know exactly what they wanted to do.
Yep.
They reached out a couple months ago. They started the ball rolling again. Prices have gone up on tobacco, and they decided to at least move forward and get a formal appraisal. And Lou, that's 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I was playing Patience by Guns N' Roses all morning after we got the collection in.
I like it.
Yeah. So high level is this individual contacted us in early 2020 with hundreds of T206s. And like usual, probably contacted us through our website at justcollect.com, filled out the form, maybe sent some images. And I'm sure we were like, we want to buy them right away. But, and this is a side note, I know you saw this, Lou. If you haven't checked out our store and you're in the area, my really good buddy, Patrick Anino, just finished his first mural for us here at the Just Collect Vintage Break store. And it's of none other than Babe Ruth and a classic batting pose. And, we wanted to make sure we gave him a shout out today, on the show. But he asked me when he was here, he's like, Leighton, I don't understand. Like, what's going on here? This is crazy. In terms of, there's just always action. And I don't understand where this stuff comes from. And
I know.
Listen, they made a lot of the cards back then. So you got to keep in mind, I don't know the numbers, but you could Google it and do your own research. They made tens of millions of T206s, I believe.
Really?
At least millions, but I believe tens of millions.
Wow.
And check out websites like T206.org. In fact, I'm just going to Google it right now because I'm curious. How many?
Well, James is selling now. He's got something from GNI you might want.
Okay. How many?
Yeah, that Babe Ruth painting was terrific. Love that thing.
Really cool. So let's see here. History. It's probably going to take more than just a minute to look for it. But I've seen statistics on, I know that they think millions. I think tens of millions. But once again, I'd love to investigate it. No matter what, they made a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yet, same thing in the 50s and 60s. They made a lot of those cards, and a lot of them were thrown out.
Yep. So
we're very fortunate that John from our office, as he's affectionately known as J5, is pretty diligent about the leads and such. But similar to Patrick, and part of the reason I was bringing him up, gang, is because Patrick is a very talented mural artist. Check him out on Instagram or check out the Babe Ruth post, although it was a story, so I'll do a full post in my IG account.
Yep.
But we were talking about philosophies. So, for example, about deals and leads. In his industry, he has people who'll reach out to him, just like this gentleman reached out to us 3 years ago, and they'll be asking about a mural, about a price, about the process, how does it work, how long does it take, do you paint it on site, do I have to pay for your room and board, so on and so forth. And this is where him and I are very similar, why we get along so well. Don't be wrong, we both enjoy making money, we enjoy doing what we love for a living, right? But even though we're aggressive, just like or similar to me, I don't really solicit that many people after they contact us. We will do it every now and then using Salesforce, but we're not one of those folks who call people every day or every week. Have you decided yet? Or what are you going to do?
Right.
And so with this guy, you can tell, if we had bothered him every week, there's no way he would have called us.
Right. Yep.
We gave him the information. It sat with him. He didn't lose it. And obviously, there's always a chance that he could, or they could. But Patrick said, he has the same kind of philosophy, which is you give out good factual information that's to the point. You let them sit with it. Hopefully you have a good website that they remember. And I feel like for Just Collect, we do. And lo and behold, we're going to start showing it off right now, Lou.
I think people are so turned off by the Rocket Mortgage approach here, where you start to fill out the form and you're getting phone calls before you end up filling out the form, and just that heavy marketing. They get leery about contacting people, so that comfort of being able to contact somebody and have a reasonable conversation with reasonable response is so important, I think, in business today.
Yeah, listen, 100%. Wow, I opened up the box with well, I guess he did this on purpose, but that's great because I didn't see them before. But you're right, Lou, and I've been saying this more and more. I feel like recently, at least for business, that the business that we're in, meaning Just Collect, Vintage Breaks, and a few other content related things, that you need to have fun. You need to be transparent, and listen, you're not going to get everyone to like you.
Right.
But if you give good information, cream always rises to the top. Let's go, Celts. I just saw that. Very excited. Sorry. Hey, what's up, Chef? What's going on, Bry? Joe. So Charles G. says,
yeah.
Appreciate the research. 370 million is a rough number of packs of tobacco that were sold that potentially had tobacco cards. Now, to be fair, I don't know if Charles found that and that's like baseball only, or is that baseball, the fish, the actresses, Who knows? I don't think I was that far off by saying tens of millions. But regardless, we still feel very fortunate whenever they come in. I did want to answer Brian's question. Brian's asking, for the people that live far away from your store, is it possible to have a virtual tour that everyone could watch of the store? We plan to do that for our next open house.
Okay.
So we're going to try to have a live IG feed for when people come in with a lead. We're going to ask them, of course, if they're comfortable. But we're hoping that you're going to see in real time, Lou. How cool would this be? Imagine something like this coming in, you see it at the same time that I do. We're going to try to do that for the next open house, which is the day before when our event ends. So I don't actually have the dates in front of me. But our next event ends, I think, sometime in June, like 17th, maybe, Lou. I wish I had the calendar in front of me.
But in the meantime, at one show, we should just send J5 out into the retail area and just walk around with his phone and just give us a look.
I like that, actually. That's a nice different way to do the show.
Yep.
So let's see here. So June 11th, the next big Vintage Breaks event ends, and then June 10th, we're doing the open house.
Yep.
So if you're
Daniel
in the area.
Yep. All right, so we're going to see some of these?
Yep. All right, we're going to start off hot just because this is what's in front of me. I had not seen the ones with Cobb yet and Cy Young. So they've been in the same family since 1910. It is from a state that is south to us here in New Jersey. And the reason why I'm being cryptic, let me be very clear here. Of course, we hope we get this.
Yep.
We don't own these cards yet.
Right.
We've been tasked with appraising them, evaluating them, and then giving them our offer. We will keep everyone posted, and please keep your fingers crossed for us.
So these are one-owner cards. These have been in the family.
One family.
One family.
Yeah. I'm sure that, they passed, different through different hands of the family over the years. It seems like it's largely a Piedmont collection, but I'm hoping that there's something rare in there, or a Piedmont Factory 42 would be great.
Everyone's freaked out about the screw downs.
So am I, James. I'm not happy about it either. I don't even like showing them off in the screw downs. It makes me nervous. But this is the way life goes. I'd rather have them in screw downs than not have them at all.
Yep.
So I hope for the best. So what's interesting is I've already looked through one box, and they're all in these little. They're even like starting to move some of them. They're all in these little tobacco holders.
Look at
that. Check that out. I'm not going to show off all of them because there's hundreds. I think there's about 400 and change, which is pretty wild. But this will be a look that, obviously that one's seen better days.
It's like the ocean, isn't it? We don't know what's out there. That all of a sudden 300 tobacco cards can just pop up.
Southern Leaguer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. One of the only players in the set in a catching uniform, and it's very popular. Fred Merkel, look up the story. It's pretty cool. Yep. I collect the Jersey City team.
Merkel's player.
I don't know much about Lam Miller, Dots Miller. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I saw Tutra speakers earlier. Yeah, look, you can see a couple of them fell out. they kind of slide a little bit more easily than I like, Lou, in these little
Oh yeah,
top
yeah.
loads versus
Right.
like I wish that they were in the card savers.
Because that'll add to the wear while they're sliding around, and you can tell.
Yeah, I don't love it. Southern Leaguer.
That's why they're all to the left there.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I hope there's an error, Maggie. That'd be amazing.
Ian
Nope, that's the correct.
Any Shoeless Joe cards that you've seen so far?
Not in this collection, no. This is, to me, one of the most attractive cards in the set, Lou. It does happen to be a Hall of Famer of Rube Marquard. But that background is just gorgeous. I mean, remember, Lou, they're producing this in 1910. They're presumably throwing this in a pouch of they're throwing this in cigarettes, right? And let me make sure it stays put. And so, it's just wild to think that they had the imagination to make them look as like something as beautiful as this.
I know. It's just amazing.
Marquard portrait, another I Am McGinnity Hall of Famer. Buffalo, the Buffalo Bisons, a very collectible team, even though they were minor league. So there's four of these.
Right, their artwork, but they're kind of secondary to the product. It's amazing they put it as much effort.
So look, this is scary, folks, and this is just real. This is how they were mailed to us. So we don't pull any punches here. You never know how we're going to get cards. And we just put up our blog about the Uniball collection where the individual shipped in a Mickey Mantle rookie loose, along with other 1951 and 52 Bowman cards in a Uniball old box. I'm saying you just never know. So like, although these cards are in holders, I'm just happy they're here and they're relatively safe, but they're still moving around. I should see first off if there's any rare backs, but no, it looks like there's almost Piedmont exclusively. What's going on, Greg? Welcome, Ian. What's up, Todd? So let's see what else we find here.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're looking for St. Louis. We got the New York. Some of these are not like, that's a nice card, Lou. So in terms of condition, this could 5. I mean, without any back damage.
TheCardDeal.com wants to buy your Psy throwing. He wants it.
Absolutely. Might have to contend with a few others from the VB community.
Someone liked to smoke Piedmonts, apparently. That's
right. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
No doubt about that. All right. I mean, here's a Southern Leaguer, and this is a nice raw. I mean, Daniel or Charles, look up, what's a 5 of, how do you say it? Otay from Norfolk. He's definitely a Southern Leaguer. It's well centered. I mean, this is hundreds of dollars. Is it 500? Is it 800? Is it 1,000? I don't know. The guys will look it up for me. But Lou, what I'm starting to appreciate for this collection is not just the volume, not just the depth, not just as Hall of Famers. I'm starting to believe that this condition or the condition of this T206 collection might be a little bit better than average.
Yep.
Because to see this raw, that's a good looking card.
That's a great example, isn't it?
It is. It is. What's shaking, Jeremy?
Oh, look at that one. I like that.
So, by the way, folks, what's nuts about today, it's 145. So we're going to cover this collection today. If you haven't checked out my other podcasts, tomorrow's the day. It's 1:30 p.m. Thursday, every Thursday, except when it's not. So figure that out. But moving forward, we're going to try to be consistent. And it is unbelievable what's going on in the card market, in the hobby, the activity. So I'm going to talk more about the collection that I was able to acquire late last week, but I don't want to detract from this collection because this is very special. And so is the collection from last week. But when you're talking about something that's been in the same family for over 100 years, you kind of throw out like, all right, even though the other cards are great, they're already graded. This is different, even though it seems like we probably get these more than, on more than most on average. Nonetheless, I don't appreciate them any less. It's unbelievable to have them. Listen, you can see the cards are all over the board, but that's a good look. I mean, this isn't a particularly valuable card, but that's a nice looking raw T206.
Yep. It just is amazing that these types of finds can keep popping out, and these are seismic, right? They change the market on a whole, don't they?
Well, Lou, it's interesting. I'm not sure that they changed the prices, but they changed the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Not just for the story, but because there's real T206 collectors. And then there's like, people like me, right, that do this for a living, but also collect. But then there's people who specifically are just T206 nuts.
Right.
They're experts in it. So they'll drop me a line. Leighton, is such and such in this with the whatever back? Or do you notice in the upper left there's a dot? I'm like, oh my God, Jesus criminy. Like, Lou, I just learned something.
Yep.
There's a kind of an interesting variation.
Any idea whether there's a complete set in here?
Definitely not, because it's over 500 cards for the complete set. There's 400 and change in this. I've seen on some examples, they have 6 of the same card. It's crazy.
Chris is asking, now of this collection, how much of it is worth sending the PSA if you're able to secure it?
This is what's so cool about the Loft. And Lou, I want to make sure that you explain this to everyone. This isn't staged.
No, I know.
And I like the ones that are staged, right? Like, I think that they do a nice job with Antiques Roadshow.
Yep.
And American Pickers, which is my only IMDb credit, by the way. If you want to check me out on imdb.com, it's my only credit to date of being on any show. And so I don't know, guys. I'm just doing this with you, and I can tell you I'm very excited. This is what's nuts. So, like, you get cards that are gradable, and you get cards with, like, was he trying to peek through this? I don't understand.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 cards in a row, the same card, but in much variance in terms of the condition of the card. Yeah. It's just fun to look at.
So Charles just looked up. That was a random Southern Leaguer. By the way, it was 4 years ago, so it may sell for more. Everyone knows the 06 market's gone up a fair amount since 2019. All right, we already showed these off, and let's put these back in, and let's do another box, Lou.
Yep.
That was fun.
And how long ago did this arrive?
Today.
Today, yeah. So
correct.
You haven't had much of a chance to go through.
We opened it on camera. Like we did a long form video of that, and then I did a short, like I guess you call it a reel on IG. I did a reel on IG for it, which has to be 90 seconds or less. But as I talked to the gang, Lou, you can't show off anything in 90 seconds for this.
No.
So I just tried to be very blunt. Gang, like, this is nuts. Here's a couple cards, blah, blah, blah. Come, like, stay tuned for the coming days, because it's going to be cool.
And even in the community, how many people have collections that are large enough just to pick out boxes and just flip through them like that? I mean,
I wouldn't imagine many. I mean, listen, I have a lot of cards. I don't have 450 T206s in my collection. What are you, nuts?
I know, right?
I got to save for my son's college. It's like by the way, every day, Lou, so I'm going to be at the bagel shop. Oh, Leighton, I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Let's talk, whatever. I'm like, we start talking about kids. I'm really excited. Got this and that. They're like, Leighton, did you know you could do this crazy thing? And I'm like, no, I never heard of that. What can I do for Crosby's? I'm like taking a note. I literally have 4 things to talk to my accountant about. I don't know if it's real, if it's not, but it's always something, Lou.
Charles says that number on that card would probably double these days.
Yeah, listen, Charles makes a good point. And by the way, if you don't know who Sir Charles is, for those who are somewhat new here for today's show, check out Sir Charles and Vintage Breaks West. He broadcasts on Wednesday evenings and Saturday nights. The rest of our team, Vintage Breaks South, we added Vintage Breaks Midwest. If you want a full schedule, check out vintagebreaks.com. Mm-hmm. And then this is very exciting. I know we're kind of going out of order here, but I'm definitely going to run out of time today. We want to welcome Brian and Michael. They've been, customers, friends of Vintage Breaks for years. A couple kids from the Buffalo area. We didn't hold against them that they are active Bills fans. And they're going to start breaking for us, I believe, this week on Whatnot. So make sure you check them out and give them a look. And they're also going to be on YouTube, I believe, on Saturday nights in the near future.
Excellent.
All right. So here is just a random, as you can see, he alphabetized them, but I haven't looked. All right. So here's a Hall of Famer, a Southern Leaguer, but it's got that one. That's one of my favorite cards in the set. Not so good.
Yep. It took away the best part, the background.
I know. Let's see what else we got here. We'll check the backs just in case. Oh, I want to make this comment today. Even though I know the Jets got Rodgers, let's pretend we didn't, or let's pretend Rodgers flops like most of the other Jet stuff.
Here we go.
Today, I realize it's actually not the worst to be a Jets fan.
Nope.
Being a Pistons fan is terrible.
That's not good.
Did you see what happened in Detroit?
No, what happened?
They had like a 14, 8, whatever the percent was. They had one of the best chances, the best chance tied with other teams in the draft to get Victor Wembanyama, the new stud coming out from France. But they didn't just not get him. They had a tiny chance of falling. Lou, they had a better chance of getting the number 1 spot than falling. They fell all the way to number 5.
Oh, man.
It's like, franchise changing when that happens to you.
Yeah. And the way, just on chance, too. It's just so
That's what I mean. Shout out to my friend Jason. I was telling the team yesterday, I'm like, I really hope the Pistons get Victor. And they're like, why? I'm like, because, our boy Jason, one of our friends and owners here in VB, lives in Michigan, and it's one of the reasons why we can do VB Midwest. Like, he has season tickets. So, Lou, I figure I get to go like once a year when I go out to see him. It'll be fun. All right. Oh, there we go. I really like this card, Hugh Jennings portrait. Oh, my God.
I think you Jets
Lou,
have a good
look
year.
At this. How you doing? Like, all right. I don't know the last time I had a 5 count of a Hugh Jennings portrait. That's just cool, man.
The last one looks nice.
Yep. This is cool. Oh, we got an old mill.
Old mill, yep.
See, that's a leading candidate if I buy this to keep for my collection. What do I collect? I like to collect T206s with somewhat more difficult backs.
You can think that, but don't say it.
I know. I don't want to jinx anything. I certainly hope that we get it. And I will. Oh, here we go. We got a couple more Southern Leaguers. Oh, Addy Joss portrait. This is what makes it so interesting, Lou. You're seeing this for the first time. Like, oh, Addy Joss. Unfortunately, someone didn't like him. Why? Why would you deface him?
What's the hole punch for?
Maybe they use it as a ticket to get into the dance.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Right? Or like you get an extra hot dog. Can you imagine?
And they didn't hang them. Both of the hole punches were lower left.
No, they didn't. I mean, 3 Miller Huggins. Like, this would be a highlight. Like, most collections, 3 Miller Huggins. Oh, super cool.
Yep. Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is wild, Lou. I'm having fun doing this with everybody. It changes the whole dynamic.
Yep. And everyone's loving it. It's great. And this is hearing the stories behind these collections is so great too. It just adds some value to the cards.
Lou, if you get a chance, I don't know. I know you have a crazy schedule. I know you work super hard. Try to hop in the chat. I'd love to give you a shout out. I want to talk about the collection, of course, that we're going to mention tomorrow during Trading Card Therapy. But I'm going to reference the 06s. And if you're able to join, it'll be from 1:30 to 2 tomorrow. I kind of want to, talk about this collection for a minute at some point during it.
All right. We'll see. I've got a show.
You let me know.
I got a show till 1:30, so I may be able to hop in.
Okay. A bunch of Piedmonts. I'm not looking to see if there's any factory 42s at the moment.
Todd says the punch hole was marked as a duplicate card, possibly.
Oh, yeah. Listen, it's fun to take guesses. I'll probably put this on social media and ask people's opinion as to why they did it.
TheCardDeal.com wants those size.
Well, I like them all.
Just on it.
Oh, all right. Well, it's got a little bit of a stain, but still, it's a nice, clean-looking Southern Leaguer.
Jeff, we talked about that a little earlier. The collection just came in today. I'm sure some will be going, but we don't know yet. We're just digging through. Right. It's first look time.
Random card.
Oh.
That's how you know it's a wild, fresh collection. Like, you don't find 5 counts of T206s. It just isn't happening.
Right.
And the last 5 count was the Hugh Jennings, a Hall of Famer. That's what's even crazier. I agree with you, Charles. Part of the reason why it takes me so long to turn over my inventory, it's, like playing with toys, kind of. You're enjoying the process.
Yeah, what is the varying? Nicholas, Nick says, I love what I love and never care about card condition. There's markets for cards that aren't obviously high condition cards. In fact, for people who like T206s, being able to collect that card or add it to their collection at a reasonable price is pretty attractive, isn't it?
It is very much so. Jim, I agree with you. It is unbelievable. I'm hoping that Jim and I are going to be talking soon. I'm finalizing my schedule for the summer with, Crosby's mother and for Cros. And then I'm going to figure out the weekends I don't have him, like where I can set up. I can only imagine, and Jim, this is what I want to get your opinion on. Imagine I'm sitting at Karma Records. Jim and I, we do some sort of hey, I'm going to come out for the weekend. I'm going to buy some cards from Jim, or we'll trade. And then I'm going to set up shop at his record shop for a day or two doing some appraisals.
That'd be great.
But it would be. But I want Jim's honest opinion here. Jim, if something like this walks in your store, we'll have a deal in place before. There's no way Jim's not going to be able to like sit down right next to me and like look over my shoulder. Like, what? I mean, no way. I don't believe you'd be able to keep a straight face. But you tell me, Jim. All right, let's see what we got here.
It's true.
Oh, one of my favorite cards in the set, Nap Portrait. So, Lou, just want to clarify, we may change things in the future, but if someone's listening to this episode in 3 weeks,
yes,
we know how they can find it, like on Apple and Spotify and all those good places.
Right.
However, if they want to physically see these cards, won't this episode be on YouTube? I just wasn't sure where.
Yeah, we're putting this on the Vintage Breaks YouTube, and it's on the Leighton's Loft Facebook page, and audio only on 9 or 10 outlets actually on the podcast. But
exactly.
YouTube and Leighton's Loft Facebook page. Vintage Break YouTube and Leighton's Loft Facebook page.
Great. So basically, gang, for those that are already familiar with us, you can, of course, find us on Facebook under Leighton's Loft. But if you want to see some of the images of this amazing collection that just came in to us of over 400 T206s that have been in the same family for well over 100 years, then check out this video on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/vintagebreaks, where we currently put all of our Leighton's Loft audio and video episodes together. But if you want to listen to audio only, like I said, check it out on Apple, Spotify, etc. I mean, kind of wild. That's how we know it's not a set. There's 6 Lattimores from Toledo. Why? No idea.
So how long do you estimate it will take you to go through this and create the appraisal?
So what's really funny? Let's just lay it on the line, folks. Imagine your boss comes to you, or you're the owner.
Yep.
And it's just a regular job, and they hand you something, and it's like, oh my God, there's 13 pages of TPS reports, and they ask you how long, and you're like, I don't know. As soon as I can, I guess. I mean, maybe next week, the week after, I don't know. So, Lou, I'm trying to tell you, and I would imagine the family's not watching. I mean, if they are, I'm super proud of this. Lou, short of taking care of my son, getting sleep, going to the bathroom, taking a shower, this is next in line.
That's what I figured.
Because I'm very excited. If nothing else, I'm very excited. And I want to make sure that we do everything that we can to close this. And I would say this is advice for anyone and everyone out there, collector, dealer, investor alike. Gang, this is a lot of fun to do this today, okay? But make no mistake, I'd like to think I am a professional baseball card treasure hunter. And what I mean is, listen, I'm going to work really hard to get this done expeditiously, accurately, and turn it around so that we can talk to the family and they can know not just, of course, what they have and how much it's worth and what we'll pay. People, they can you guys have heard the whole idea of sensing energy. People want to feel positive energy. Does that get you every deal? No. But they can certainly check this out. They can see how excited we are to get this collection meeting in-house, evaluate it. And so, Lou, you can imagine, maybe we could tell them 2 weeks and that would be fine. But that's not how we roll. You get a collection like this, it gets moved up in the queue because it's super important.
You don't strike me as the kind of guy who's going to put this aside to watch Ted Lasso or something.
No,
You're going to be digging into this until you're done.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, I would say I've learned this trick along the way because, we are a business and we also, want to try to scale, meaning get even more of these. And it seems like, knock on wood, right? We are, fingers crossed. I'll utilize the staff or a team member and say, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you maybe, after I look at it first, because I like to check it out in as is. Hey, could you do me a favor? Could you pull out all the Hall of Famers? Could you put the Southern Leaguers in a different pile? It may not look like much to you, but if you can get a friend or a family member to help you even sort your own stuff. I mean, I could tell you, I did this when I was a kid. Farron, Merrick, and Raina, if you're listening, of course, they know I love them. But I remember, Lou, I would be 14, 15. I'd be going down to the Englishtown auction, Englishtown flea market, which is a few miles from my house. And I developed this rapport with a couple of the guys that would sell a lot of cards, but it took sorting and I just bought a lot and I enjoyed it, but maybe I was making a few shekels. I would just buy more cards. I'd pay my brother. I would pay my sisters to just help me sort American League, National League, hitters and pitchers.
Right.
any time you shave is more time that you as the expert can put into evaluating whatever you're doing the best you possibly can.
Yeah, and get a chance to do what you do well instead of the stuff like sorting and the mechanical stuff. You just want to be able to concentrate on the stuff that you do well.
Yes. And on that note, I would prefer to stay on because it's therapeutic. This is a lot of fun. However, the guys and the
show.
gang.
What a great collection.
Yeah, and Lou, we have 3 more boxes.
Yep.
So what I'm going to try to do in some capacity, and it probably won't happen, hopefully by next Wednesday, we're either going to know that we've bought it or not. If we've bought it, we'll hopefully be proudly showing it off, in which case we'll show off the rest of the collection.
That's right. Show some highlights and, just dig back into it. Everyone wants to see that nap again.
Yes. And, we don't usually ask this in the sense of like, we'll do this in the beginning of the show. Hey, smash the like button, this and that. I'll tell you, this particular episode, I really feel, whether it be you're a casual or you're a serious hobbyist, or even if you're someone who's on the fringe and you've heard that they might have cards that are 100 years old, forget about liking. I'd really appreciate it if you could actually share this episode on Facebook today with your friends that might appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me, and I know it would mean something to Lou. Thanks, everybody.